Pitch popped up right field along the line. Long run for Frelick. He's there. He's got it. 9-0 Brewers, the final.
And then he would say on the Pirates Radio Network, brought to you by Icy Light, because Joe Block, I have picked up that the more the Pirates lose, the more angsty he gets, and the shorter the final calls are. And that'll do it for the Buccos tonight. They lose 9-0 in Milwaukee. Post-game show next on the Pirates Radio Network, brought to you by Icy Light. Just bang out. Where if the Pirates win, he's orgasmic, and it'll go for 37 seconds, and then he wants to give a little coup de grace, and then you've got the color commentator who comes in and wants to give a little analysis, and it's like, oh, we're doing a post-game show before the post-game show. It was frustrating last night because, Dorin, you called this. This team has not won 3 consecutive games since May 6th. They haven't lost 3 consecutive games since May 10th. They scored 12 runs in Game 1 against Milwaukee, something that they haven't done historically, win by that margin in that ballpark. And then the next day, they don't score a run.
Crazy.
These 2 games, like no joke, these 2 games, we made a lot of jokes today. These 2 games, microcosm of the Pirates season. It's like, this is what it is. Holy cow, they're back. They're scoring runs. They hit 5 home runs. Are they turning the corner? No, of course not, because they don't have enough dudes in the lineup to win consistently. But they don't have bad enough pitching to lose consistently. And it's a really bad place to be. And not to take this in a totally different direction, Dorin, but this is kind of where all of our sports teams are right
Absolutely.
now. Right?
Yeah.
Just the epitome of...
Yeah. The gray area.
Yes. Or the slightly purple area.
Yes. That. For colorblind.
Yeah. It's just very frustrating. And so we're watching last night, and Martin Perez, he's trying to gut through it, and he was really good early. He's not been good prior to the injuries, his couple starts before it, and then the few starts he's had after. And we've agreed we'd like to see the Pirates add before the deadline, but he makes $8 million. You're not going to get a huge return for him. But he's one of the guys that I would try to offload. He's on a 1-year deal. I'm sure someone needs a little pitching depth. Maybe he could be a bullpen arm, as he was for the Rangers on the way to the World Series last year. I'm trying to move that guy, I think.
I guess. I mean, you're just in a tough spot. Like, I mean, who's going to really want that?
You're not going to get anything.
You're not going to get anything.
Maybe cash considerations, player to be named, something like that.
Why wouldn't you keep him for your bullpen?
That's an interesting thought. The way I look at it is you've got Luis Ortiz. What Quinn Priester did against Milwaukee the other night was really impressive. You're going to have Marco Gonzalez coming back. Bailey Falter will come back. Jared Jones is going to be part of the plans this season. It might take him 6 weeks or something like that because they're absolutely, and they should be really careful with that guy. But they've got bodies. And then you've got Ashcraft, who I think could make a play, maybe in September, to be on this roster. They've got a lot of pitching depth in that rotation. Coming into the year, I didn't know that to be true. You've got Oviedo for next year.
Yeah.
I just think if you are trying to add, and the John Parado article says that the front office doesn't feel like they've got money to add, someone's going to buy low on this dude, not give up anything in return, but you'd be moving prorated $8 million off the books. If you're looking to add, that would be one way to add while you're also subtracting. You're not going to get anything for him,
right? But
the salary that you could then bring in another deal, I think it would be helpful for them.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. You just know what you're going to get out of this team at this point. Like, even if you accrue salary by moving on from Perez, like, who are they going to get? With that salary. And
some of the guys that they've been linked to, like Taylor Ward, and we'll get into that later. There was a good old-fashioned source-off yesterday. Paul Zeiss, the Pirates are circling around this guy. And then you had Robert Murray, one of these national dudes. They're not even close on this deal. Well, the guys you've heard are like J.J. Bleday for the A's, an upgrade. Guys like, again, Taylor Ward, an upgrade. But we're talking about $750,000 players who are going to hit arbitration. Do you really need to move a Martin Perez to facilitate that kind of deal? No, you do not. No, you do not. I guess what's really frustrating, though, is I'm watching Rhys Hoskins play. We're all watching Rhys Hoskins play yesterday, and he has not had a great season. His numbers are actually, he's hit more home runs, but his numbers are fairly comparable, actually, to Rowdy Tellez's. But he makes $17 million. And the Pirates in Martin Perez and Aroldis Chapman have $18.5 million tied up. And Martin Perez has not really helped the team. And Aroldis Chapman, sometimes he goes out there and he throws 104 and he's lights out. And you're like, oh my God, the other team doesn't have a chance. And then the next time out, he's going to walk 4 guys.
Right.
You can get that for a lot less than $10.5 million. And so people want to come down on the owner. And I totally understand that. That's fair. It's how we've been conditioned as Pirates fans. But with the money that Ben Cherington has had to spend, I don't think he's done a particularly good job of spreading that money around.
And, like, I get it. Like, you're going to hit on some players and you're not going to hit on some players. And Tellez looks like it's a good decision, right now. There was a time where it didn't look like a good decision. But this is where it all comes down to, as we kind of alluded to yesterday, is the offseason. Like, making the right moves, the appropriate moves, and knowing if guys are going to pan out or not. Like, the Perez's of the world, like, did you really think that he was going to be a big piece to your puzzle of your window so-called being open? Like, come on, what are we doing? You're paying $8 million for just a guy. He was just a guy. Like, in my opinion, like, go get a real dude.
Yes.
Go get a real dude in the offseason, because then you wouldn't be in situations like this. We wouldn't be trying to, offload contracts to save some money to hopefully get an upgrade. Like, that's just where I'm at. Like, I feel like they didn't do a great job this offseason of surrounding this team with the appropriate talent.
Are we missing an obvious thing right in our face? Just listening to you go through that. 1-year deal, Aroldis Chapman. 1-year deal, Martin Perez. Marco Gonzalez, I think, is just 1 year on this deal. Rowdy Tellez, we're watching the replay on Sportsnet Pittsburgh right now, who just hit his let get out double. 1-year deal. The plan all along probably was, we'll see with Skeens what he looks like. We'll see when he comes up. We think Jared Jones could be good. They didn't expect him to be this good. We think Bailey Falter can be good. They definitely didn't expect him to be this good. They didn't expect to be really in contention, I don't think.
Which is a shame.
It's a damn shame. And with all of these 1-year deals, because they've had some success. You flip Vogelbach and you wind up getting Colin Holderman. You flip Jose Quintana and you wind up getting Johan Oviedo. Aroldis Chapman last year gets moved off the Royals to the Rangers, and the Rangers ship a lefty starter who winds up being an all-star this year. And I'm wondering if Cherington thought, let's spend the $10.5 million on Aroldis Chapman when relief help is in desperate need at the deadline. Oh, the idea all along is we're going to trade that guy.
Yeah.
The idea all along is we're going to trade Rowdy Tellez. The idea all along is we're going to trade Perez or Marco Gonzalez, whichever one of those guys performs better. And they went into this offseason just thinking, all right, what can we get to hopefully open a window and start a window, not with these guys, but with what these guys could bring back in trade.
For a later time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a terrible mindset, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's a terrible mindset. Like, it should be win now. I mean, you should be able to try to do both. I get it. But, like, that's a terrible mindset because everybody's thinking that the window's open now. And it somewhat is. And you're proving and you're looking around a division, like, that's not doing the appropriate research of what teams are going to be this year either. Because, like, everybody's in a big pile right now.
Great point.
And, like, if your mindset is down the road, like, how can you even know that you're going to last that long as a general manager and a manager?
Jared Jones is hurt right now. Paul Skeens will be hurt at some point. You hope it's not one of these Tommy John season enders. Bailey Falter, hurt right now. Martin Perez already got hurt. Marco Gonzalez has been hurt. Quinn Priester went on the IL. Pitchers get hurt. And so if you don't go into a season thinking, oh, we've got Skeens, we've got Jones, we've got the makings of a potentially good rotation that when you obviously go into the year and it's going to be healthy, if you're not trying to make good on it whenever you've got the health, like, there's no guarantee. They could spend $50 million this offseason, bump it up by $15 million, and next season, everyone in the NL Central could get better.
Right.
Anyone in the NL can get better, and you have no guarantee that the strength of your team is going to stay intact. And it's very frustrating. I look at what the Cubs did, and they're the Cubs, and it's Chicago, and they get butts in seats, and they spend money to different market. I get it. But they spend $27 million on a Cody Bellinger. Man, if you don't sign Chapman, if you don't sign Rowdy Tellez, there's 11. If you don't sign Martin Perez, there's $20 million wrapped up in those three. You could go out and try to sign a guy like a Cody Bellinger. And that's a move that helps you win. And if you don't, you could trade that guy. Like, you can try to win, and then those guys could be offloaded, and that's someone with legitimate value that might bring you 3, 4, 5 players, 2 or 3 of whom might be major league ready. We're going to spend a lot of time as we lead up to the trade deadline, and we have talking about what they can do. But I think you really crystallized it, man. Like, the folly of when you look at this team and what they could be versus where they are really was they screwed it up in the offseason.
Yes.